Morning, everyone. This is Trent Follow this side. It's that time of the week. So today we will analyze the week of Feb 9. So what we'll see is all the news that's happening, all the currency trends, and what are some of the zones that I'm really interested in. I also wanted to share my thoughts on different currencies, uh, thoughts on trends and thoughts on drawn liquidity. We nailed it last week with JPY. Why? Is because that happened because the drawn liquidity and trend was super clear. So when that happens, you get like a star line trade. So sometimes it's not easy to give that during the weekend, but if everything is aligned, then it gets easy. So you can watch the previous video. I would really recommend that because there are really some good gems in there to learn how to see drawn liquidity or when does a great trade happens, what are the different components of that. But let's leave the past behind and let's look at the future. So it's Feb 9th week, and if you've seen my previous videos, you know now I start by looking at news. So this week, what we have is a bunch of news, right? So the main ones are the red folder news, but one interesting one was Euro, where President Lagarde speaks. So that starts Monday itself. So Monday, Euro can move a little, which would be interesting, I think. But mainly now, Tuesday again, Fed Powell speaks, and whenever he speaks, right, market moves crazy. So Feb 11th is damn important because of USD. Then Feb 12th again is very important because of CPI, right? So initial part of the week you see USD and Euro, so that's damn interesting. And again he's speaking on Feb 12th, and then you have NZD inflation expectations. So initial part of the week, the focus would be on Euro, USD, and NZD, right? So next, let's look at let's look at which one is this? Feb 13th. Yeah. So now let's focus on this. Later part of the week, what you will see is CHF news, which is damn interesting. CPI. We have GBP also, but I'm very interested in CPI because it's month over month, and it's not like CHF has news every other day, right? Plus, there was some CHF interest rate news, uh, which I think SNB did share. Anyway, we'll see, talk about it later. But then we have core PPI. This one is important too on USD. And then core retail, then later part of the week, USD retail sales. So I think the most important would be would be these this block where you have Fed Chair Powell testifies twice plus core CPI, and then it's NZD and then CHF. This would be later part of the week. So to reiterate, we have USD, we have NZD, we have CHF, the main ones. Okay. And now after the news, let's look at the currency strength and all that, right? The major point which we have to understand this week, we saw euro weakness, which was surprising, but we saw euro weakness. The bias on USD worked halfway. I said DXY, I am biased to the downside. It gapped up like crazy thanks to Mr. Trump. But then it broke the FEG we talked about and came down. So in currency strength, euro being weak is surprising, but it is what it is. Price action shows euro is weak, right? So before starting all the trade ideas or zones that I really care about, I want to put some things into perspective, which is let's first and foremost look at DXYs because that's the most important one, right? So DXY, you can use the futures chart. I like this one, but we can look anyone. What is important for DXY for me is right now where it is. If you look at this daily, right? Let me remove this. This daily area, I don't like it so much to trade anything as such. So I think it really needs to come up, right? This is the reason where, if you remember in the last video, this line here was the fair value gap, right? So which it broke like crazy. So I expect it to come back here. Now this line is marked here, right? The interesting part is, firstly, you had a weekly fair value gap here, which it broke like butter, just cut through it. Now, secondly, you have this weekly level, and thirdly, on 12 hour, you have this 12-hour supply. So, what I am interested, or what I am expecting is, it comes here, does this or this. Point being, when it's here, right, my focus will really go to some names like USDJPY or USD depending on the daily chart at that time. So I'm really interested in this area. Okay, that is DXY. So what I think, I'm bearish DXY right now. I think it took the weekly supply here, rejected. So I think ideally it should come back a little, pull back a little. Am I saying it will go all the way down? No, right? But it can still go up. And the reason I say that is because it's just one candle, right? One candle below, then this one went above. There's no weekly down close. It's not like we have made another weekly candle there. So the confidence level is, you cannot be like 100% confidence that it has to go down. And when you look at monthly, it makes me think, I thought this is a holding reversal candle. So ideally it shouldn't have gapped up so or went up so high, right? So feels like we are in this range, and we will be in this range maybe most probably this week also, right? But point being, which I'm trying to say is, I personally am biased to the DXY downside. I want that because I feel like everything is in great zones for upside for uh, like Euro USD and all that. So I wanted to go down, but I think technically you cannot say with very high confidence that it will go down, right? So what I will try to do is, when it comes here, I will see where it goes. Remember, this bounce is happening right now on 12 hour, for example. This is bullish order flow. Why? There was a gap, it bounced, it's holding this. So I think it will come here, and this is where I will look into some USD names. Okay. Now if you think, oh, what are the chances it can go up? For me, if it wants to go up, I would like something like this. So I will still let it break this region, then come here and then see what happens, right? Which I doubt, but this is the most important zone for DXY. Okay, the next two pointers I wanted to mention is, I feel we'll start the week with CAD pullback. And the reason I say that is just to quickly go through it. Every CAD name is in demand, right? EURCAD GBP CAD. So this one is right here. So it's not, I'm not saying it's a great quality demand. I should look at daily. So I'm not saying it's great quality demand, but it is in demand. So I think if you look at AUDCHF, for example, this one, just look at the weekly chart, right? This is very important zone I mentioned in the previous video. It bounced very hard from here, rejected from here. It can go a little bit up, right? So I think there is a chance that the week starts with CAD weakness. So I would, or I should say, pull back on CAD names. So in these in OddCAD, for example, I think the move up is possible. I'm not saying that it will go all the way up, but I'm saying the week will start with CAD weakness or pullback. So if you look at what else, OddCAD, NZDCAD, for example, again, it's in this weekly zone. So I do see some kind of pullback on CAD names. So what is interesting to me there is you see CAD CHF is in great daily supply. It took the liquidity. So I would expect it to pull back a little. Now, the second story is in terms of CHF, right? CHF is more clear where all CHF pairs are in sell zones. So I think pullback or CHF showing strength is possible. And I wouldn't be surprised because JPY just showed strength, right? So if you look at CHF, GBP CHF sell zone, right? Euro CHF just rejected from gap. Then AUD CHF sell zone, there is a lovely 12-hour supply here, right? And there is a gap here, right? NZDCHF. Now this one equal highs, it can go up a little and then go down 8 hour. Really good supply, monthly line and everything. And gap here. So I think what I'm reading for CHF in general is if due to NZD news, if we come in this region, this gap region, that would be awesome. I think there can be a little bit move to the upside, right? Because of how this weekly candle is, but then it should pull back. Now, if we are in this region, if this region gets tested during CHF news, that would be definitely great, right? But it's later part of the week, so I doubt it. What I see is initial part of the week, you come here and odd CHF comes here, right? And if you see a down move, there is a big possibility that it can be a big move. And let me explain you why. Uh, I will go through it why in some time. Let me go with other trades and some of it will come there also. But CHF, every CHF pair, if you look on the charts, you'll see it's in sell zone or is going to reach a sell zone pretty soon. So that's something good to observe that I feel when these areas would be tested, which is like the initial part of the week, then like I would expect later it will pull back. Uh, Now let's look at the trades. So trade ideas. One is first we talked about currency strength, right? So EURCAD. Euro has been acting super weak, gave us a signal. CAD has been acting super strong. So I think CAD will pull back, but if it pulls back and comes in this zone, it would be great. Now let me explain you why this zone is great. So let's look at the weekly chart. So ideally, this is the great level because it should have bounced from here if it was strong. And then let's look at the monthly. This is a great level. This is the level where monthly, the previous month closed. So if we are really bearish on EURCAD and we want this monthly candle to, let's say, come here or here or here, wherever, it shouldn't allow it to go positive on monthly time frame, right? So this zone, which you see here, is just matching with that, right? Now this zone has been tested once, right? So what I would like to think is this is the zone, right? I would like these levels to be tested. Now, if you look at 8 hour on this, there's this 8 hour zone here, right? So like, can you believe this? So there's this 8 hour supply. So it would be good if it comes here, takes the liquidity from here, test this region and go down. But let me point out one more thing here. On uh, EURCAD, there's a 12-hour zone also, right? So what can even happen is it's a level on level. So what can happen is it comes here and then goes down. So what I would do is typically I would see price action in this region. If it's weak, I'll put my entry here, stop loss here, right? But what will you target? I think you can safely target this region and then this on monthly. So uh, I think what you should do is if it comes here or here, try to get an entry so that you can target this region, right? So that's EuroCAD. Now GBP CAD. Similarly on GBP CAD, the beautiful part about GBP CAD is it's uh, this guy is fresh, this zone is fresh, and it's a strong daily zone, right? So if GBP CAD, look at these long wicks on monthly, right? So drawn liquidity is really good on this. So what I would expect is this way. Now again, there is a 8 hour level on top of level again. If you want to play really safe, what you will do is entry somewhere here, stop loss here, right? If you want to play aggressive, entry here, stop loss here. So it depends, but I should tell you it's level on level. So ideally, if you want safe bet, this here should be your stop loss, right? So that would be GBP CAD. I think GBP CAD can go further down. There is a possibility with, especially with this kind of uh, big move. Now, I'm not saying it has to go down like this. All I'm saying is the probability of this is very high, and if you can get 2 RR here or here, that would be awesome. So I think that's what my focus would be. I think if we don't test this zone before coming here, then that would be great because then the probability of this is very high. So GBP CAD and Euro CAD are some of my favorite charts right now. Now, few things also you should remember. If you look at both GBP CAD, Euro CAD, both have a weekly down close, both have a strong weekly candle, right? So this zone is above this weekly zones, right? So if you can get this, the reason this is great is because this zone is just above the weekly zone. It shouldn't allow to go above the previous week low if it's really bearish. Now there is a chance that it comes above this, and that's why this zone is also important. So I think this can also happen. There is a possibility. So stop loss should be here. It depends how the CAD acts at the start of the week. You know, a tariff can come anytime. You never know. So you have to be alert on that and thinking or think about that. The reason I said there is a chance that it can come here is because there are equal highs here. So there is a possibility we also break this and then go down. So that's why I would really suggest putting stop loss here. So that's GBP CAD and that's EURCAD. Both had a weekly down close candle. Both have great zones. GBP CAD zone is fresh, right? And if you want the most probable scenario, you will typically try that whenever any name like EuroCAD comes here, GBP CAD also comes here. Or whenever EuroCAD comes here, at least GBP CAD is here, right? So if they both are in a zone, that would be a very high probability trade. So that's EuroCAD and GBP CAD. So next would be GBP CHF. Now this one, what I wanted to really show here is, which makes sense right now, is that basically you had this huge weekly candle. Now you acted a little bullish here, but you still couldn't go up. So the confidence of this going further up has reduced significantly. So with the GBP CHF, I think, as I said, I think what will happen is by later, ideally, what I want should happen is when CHF news comes in, price is here, right? Because what I think is possible is GBP CHF can have a false breakout, which basically means that it comes here and then rejects. And the reason I say that is because JPY has been acting strong. So I would not typically go against that, right? So when JPY acts strong, the probability of CHF acting strong is also there. So with GBP CHF, I think a move up cannot be trusted, and I will explain one thing why. This is very important to understand. The move up, at least till now, hasn't been that great. So I think it's more clear on CAD CHF, but let me see if it's clear. Yeah. So the move up has left this 12-hour long wick candle, which didn't even take the liquidity from here. That's why I personally would not be able to trust the move to the upside. So I feel you have left a big liquidity, and if it goes really fast, I would not trust it. Now with GBP CHF, I do think that if we are in this zone, that if during news you are here, then I expect like this. If during news you are here, then you are in weekly demand, then maybe it happens. I doubt it because of JPY. So I just wanted to put this forward with GBP CHF names, that I think all these, if they come up, what you have here is a broadening formation. So if you look this way, so what I typically think will happen here is you come here during the start of the week, you come down during news, you come in that region and come later here. And then I don't know, I think it can go up, but whatever. We'll see the weekly closes at that time. But I think the broadening formation, if it comes here, would be perfect. And why I say that is if you look at other names, as I was showing, uh, if we go to other names, all these have that where you can go up and come down. So I'll go into those names, but GBP CHF, I think if be ready, if it comes in this region, right? There is a slight chance that there are equal highs, so it can even break this. But once it pulls back, I think you can trust that pullback, and I mean not pullback, it can come down. So don't trust the up move clearly. I would typically try to short it if it doesn't take liquidity from anywhere here and just goes uh, up. So that's GBP CHF. Now GBP JPY is again a damn good pair, and the reason I say that this one is, I think this should be above GBP CHF. But the reason I love it is the probability of this area being tested is very high right now, right? So this was damn bullish that we bounced exactly from here, but we broke it now. So the probability is very high that it will test this, right? So in this case, there is not a great zone right now, like the zones I like to watch, but because GBP, we have this great combination of GBP showing weakness, JPY showing strength, Euro showing weakness, JPY showing strength. I need to talk about this one, right? So in this, I there is a zone which I want to talk about. So ideally, the best zones are here. So if the price action makes you think it can come here, good enough, right? So take this zone, and this will work because now you have this weekly line and all that. So I can go into further details on this, but it will take a long time. But I think this zone is the perfect zone uh, for GBPJPY if it comes here. Do I believe it will come there? Not really, not this week, because of how EURJPY and GBPJPY are acting. So I would like to see price action here in this zone. So in right here you have level on top of level. There's a 4 hour here and there's a 4 hour here, right? There are equal highs here. So either you put an entry and stop loss here, or entry somewhere here and stop loss here. So what I would like to see is price coming here, taking the liquidity from here, and then going down. So that's what my focus would be on GBP JPY. Similarly, on Euro JPY, there is a 4 hour zone here. This 4 hour zone is just uh, above this weekly where it should have bounced, right? So I think this one is also great. I think it broke trend line, right? And at least it can test till GBP JPY reaches the bottom. So I think with GBP JPY and Euro JPY, remember that these are not daily zones or very high time frame like 12 hour, which I like to see, which means what I will typically wait for is both of them coming in these zones. If they both are not in these zones, then it doesn't make sense to me, right? So I think this fair value gap here can really act like the resistance zone, supply zone. So that's my focus on GBP's JPY and UDJPY. Now, there are some names which are according to story title that, and the reason I have brought them up is because I think there is a slight chance, not slight, good chance that we will test this area on USDJPY, right? So we'll look into that when we look into futures. Uh, so we went through EURJPY or JPY. This is according to the story because what I really want, I think or JPY, odd pairs can act strong, at least initial part of the week, right? With NZD news and all. So we are in this weekly zone. I feel there is a chance that odd comes in this region, right? So I would really like to see odd pairs or JPY pairs coming in this region. So if it can come here, will it come here? I don't know. So my focus would be anywhere in this zone, right? This is a daily zone which I really like, but if it can come here, I will short here. So for me, or JPY, if it comes here, that's when I will short. Or there's NZDJPY, right? There is a zone here. So when it comes here, then I will short. So why is this important to me? I think or JPY and NZDJPY both had again a weekly down close candle. So I would want or JPY in this zone above this line because then you are in this weekly gap, right? And at that time, wherever if NZDJPY is in this region, I will short it. That's when I will short it. So I like this, but it depends. They would both depend on each other. Or JPY needs to be in about this for me to take NZDJPY, right? So that's my focus on or JPY and NZDJPY. Now, I wanted to show you odd CHF and NZDCHF a little bit because I think there is too much liquidity now here. There is there are equal highs here and there is a gap here, right? So let's say we pull back, right? And we are in that news time. then I can see we can do this. Let's say we pull back like this and the news comes and it tests this region, then I think we can go this way. Right now, CHF, you cannot by full confidence say that it will go down, it will show strength, or it will show weakness. But I do believe the probability of showing weakness if during news it goes up without much pullback. Why I say that is if you see this one, yeah. So it never, there is equal high here. It never tested this. It just went up, right? And CAD CHF is the most clear one. So if you see CAD CHF, is this one? Yeah. So in CAD CHF, it just went up without testing this region at all. So there are a lot of imbalances, I feel, and the probability of pullback is very high, right? So what I really think with CHF names, it's mixed, but I wanted to show these zones because I feel it can be great to be ready for this. Uh, Now, what is important to notice here is we have equal highs, right? So if before the news we do this, right, and we come here, then very high chance we break it, we balance this area, and we break this, and this goes up. Now, the second option is it can be that there is an overreaction, and this would be the most fun part. The reason I say that is because there are equal highs here and there are equal highs here. And let's say both equal highs broke, which means most probably NZDCHF equal highs broke and GBPCHF also has that, right? So this one, I doubt it will do that. But let's say that happens, there is a great 4 hour supply here. Let me show that. This one. So this 4 hour supply, let me change. Yeah, this 4 hour supply is awesome. So I think if there is an overreaction and we make a huge move by any chance like this, then there's a good chance we pull back or even come down. Because again, with CHF pairs, this looks clearly on odd CHF also. You made this up move without testing at all. So I do believe that you should test this region before going further up. So I think initial part of the week CHF should come here. Now during news, it depends how the reaction is in this region, but it would be interesting to see. I don't think that it should just break it. Now let's say if it breaks it at the start of the week, it will pull back, I think, and then during news it can go up, right? So I think CHF is in a weird state, but I wanted to show some of the combination because if market goes crazy and there's overreaction, it goes over long or over short, then it's always fun to trade those names because the risk to reward is great. So that's it for the trade ideas. Some combination I wanted to talk about was the JPY pair, for example. So in JPY futures, this weekly candle is super strong, super strong. So if we are really strong, there is a 12-hour demand also here, right? Which right now it hasn't tested and it just went up. So what I would like to see what I typically like to trade is these levels, right, with supply and demand. So I would like to see reaction in this area, right? So I will set an alert here and set an alert here. And when this area comes, I would like to see where is GBP JPY, where is Euro JPY, is it in our regions? Where is OR JPY, NZD JPY? Is it in our regions? So that's the plan for JPY. With GBP USD, at least on futures, I think it's forming a broadening formation. I really want to see when DXY comes here, yes, GBP JPY comes here. And I think that would be a great combination for GBP JPY because there is this weekly zone here. There's a great 12-hour demand here. Look at this. Great 12-hour demand, right? So I want to see the price action here because right now the order flow is damn bearish. This fair value gap got respected. So I think I would like to see some price action here. I feel the probability of up is there. So that's what, like, because you will be at the bottom of this broadening formation. So then you typically like to test the top of the broadening formation. And that's what my bet would be on. So that is what I wanted to share on GBP futures. So that's it for this week, guys. This is what my thoughts were. These are the zones I am watching. These are the trades I am watching. Again, I think GBP CAD and EURCAD you cannot go wrong. Uh, they both had weekly down close. Similarly, GBP JPY and Euro JPY. So these names should be at the top of your list, right? And CHF, I think, is just watch and learn mostly. But if it market goes over long, it can be great bet, right? So my primary focus would be on GBP CAD, Euro CAD, and GBP JPY and Euro JPY. All right, guys, that's it for this week. All the best for this week. Please feel free to comment, leave feedback, suggest any new ideas, suggest how I can improve, and I will take that feedback very well. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, everyone.